Welcome to the AC 24/7 Top Story Countdown. We'll guide you through the biggest news of the day. Our focus, advocating our rights, advocating health, and advocating Earth. Here's our pick for number 4.
Are you happy with your vote for Joe Biden?
Well, I didn't see something like really change. And I didn't see changes so I was expecting something.
Gabriela Martinez was expecting better. Both she and her husband work. They have one child, 6-year-old Roman. Every month, a struggle.
Right now, I work in 3 jobs because I have to pay more things. My house is more expensive.
Dalton, Georgia bills itself the carpet capital of the world. Much of the labor here, Latino immigrants living paycheck to paycheck. Many now view the Trump years as better for their bottom line.
Some Latino communities say when Trump was a president, we don't have high gas or inflation of the food.
Right.
So this is the truth.
Pocketbook concerns top of the mind, and the support of this fast-growing voting bloc critical in key battleground states. Joe Biden won Georgia and its 16 electoral votes in 2020 by just 11,779 votes. That year, Latinos in the state backed Biden by a 25-point margin. While they were just 7% of the Georgia electorate, a small shift could affect the outcome in a tight race. A recent New York Times Siena College poll across 6 battleground states, including Georgia, found Trump running just 8 points behind Biden among Latinos.
Do you think Latino votes in Georgia are up for grabs from either party in 2024?
Absolutely. I think they're up for grabs from both parties. I think from any party, really. And I think there's a lot of frustration and a lot of broken promises.
Galeo advocates for and works with Latinos statewide. Andres Parra says Latino concerns mirror the country. Their biggest issues?
Inflation and, job pay, rent prices, and healthcare.
Juan Jose and Zoila Petiño, 63 years married. They raised 7 kids. Now in their 80s, they still show up to work every day at their Atlanta snack shop.
Es trabajar.
What's important for most people living in Georgia, he says, is work. Patiño says he's a Democrat, but worries about the economy and crime.
Aquí en Atlanta.
Here in Atlanta, he says many people are thinking bad things about murder and crime.
Pensando cosas malas.
Diego Monsalve has lived in Atlanta and cut hair for 17 years. The candidate who will get his vote, the one he believes will improve both the economy and bring down crime.
Do you have a candidate in mind, or are you in el medio? Are you in the middle?
Yo estoy mirando, checando cuál será el mejor.
So you're open to Democrat or Republican?
TheAdvocateChannel.com looks at the world through the lens of equality and inclusion. Subscribe, like, and share now. AC 24/7's Top Story Countdown continues with our producer's pick for number 3.
Honoring military service members.
Today, we celebrate and honor the men and women who have served this nation in uniform.
Veterans Day marked by celebrations in somber moments of remembrance. Events at Arlington Cemetery being held on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, marking the end of World War I on this date in 1918.
We gather in this sanctuary of sacrifice to pause, to pay tribute.
Earlier in the day, in a more intimate setting, President Biden spoke to those who served and to those who have lost loved ones who served.
I know how hard it is for you.
It's an issue that's close to the president's heart. His son, Beau, was exposed to toxic burn pits while serving in Iraq and later died of brain cancer. Biden has said he believes there may have been a connection.
I know the black hole that leaves in the middle of your chest, it feels like you may get sucked into it and not come out.
According to the Defense Department, there were more than 2 million U.S. service members last year and nearly 19 million living veterans, according to the Recognized Veterans Service Organization.
Americans will pause today and remember the countless contributions of our nation's veterans.
A day to never forget, those who fought for freedom. I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
Like the Advocate channel on Facebook for the best way to get updates on stories that advocate for equality, justice, our rights, and more. AC 24/7 continues with today's top 2 pick.
You have 2 choices.
Blasting into a presidential election in which polls say many voters don't like either main candidate, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, actor, wrestler, superstar, is hinting at a run.
If that's truly what the people want, then of course I will consider it.
If he does, he'd follow former President Donald Trump and dozens of other celebrities who have considered, tried, and sometimes succeeded in spinning their fame into political gold. The one he might most want to study? Ronald Reagan, who used his skills from film, TV, and radio to pick off one political challenger after another. Proving that his actor's sense of timing,
there you go again,
and humor,
I am not going to exploit for political purposes my opponent's youth and inexperience,
could carry him all the way to the White House and, with a robust agenda popular with his party, keep him there. That pattern has been repeated at lower levels. Fred Grandy turned 9 years on the Love Boat into 8 years as a congressman from Iowa.
Babe, I got you, babe.
Sonny Bono was a pop star, then a mayor, then a congressman from California, until his untimely and accidental death.
But I don't think that's how it works.
Which Minnesota senator started out as a comedian?
That's right. Me, Al Franken.
And of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger pressed his strongman persona into 8 years as governor of California.
I want to be the governor for the people. I want to represent everybody.
What the hell is this? It's your strengths and weaknesses.
So is The Rock ready to enter the political jungle? He's tipped his hat to a presidential run before, although always with hesitation.
I love our country and everyone in it. I also love being a daddy. And that's the most important thing to me, is being a daddy.
Follow the Advocate channel on Twitter and Instagram to stay updated on stories that matter every day. Here's our number 1 story of the day. Take a look.
826 foreign nationals were evacuated out of Gaza into Egypt through the Rafah border crossing. The border was closed since Thursday, and this is the largest number of foreign nationals that have been evacuated. There were also 4 injured Palestinians that were sent to Egyptian hospitals, and we spoke to one patient that only had one wish: to be able to walk again like he did before. Both his legs were amputated, and it just gives you a sense of the scale and the intensity of some of the injuries that Gaza's hospitals have to deal with. So many of the hospitals have already been shut down, and the doctors there described very grim and catastrophic conditions that they're dealing with. There were also 5 cancer patients, children, that went into Egypt, not because they were injured, but because they couldn't continue to get care in Gaza because of the continued bombardment. Now, 129 injured Palestinians have already been evacuated into Egypt. The Egyptians are deploying resources at the border, ambulances to get people into hospitals. But this number is just a small fraction of the over 26,000 injured Palestinians right now in Gaza. In terms of foreign nationals, the only way you can get out of the Gaza Strip is if your name is on a registered list. And one diplomatic source here in Egypt tells me that it's an untransparent, long and arduous process to get foreign nationals on this list. Once it's approved by embassies, those names are then sent to Israel, and Israel has the final say. They vet and process those names. So a diplomatic source also tells me that it's clear that they're using a political metric to get people out of Gaza, that if any country has spoken ill or spoken against Israel's actions in Gaza, that they're probably at the bottom of the list. The Israeli Foreign Ministry tells me that they have no objection to foreign nationals leaving Gaza as long as they're not linked to any terrorist group. Now, this was a very important deal that was brokered by the Qataris with the assistance of the Egyptians, a deal that included Hamas, Israel, and the United States to get people out of Gaza. This has been in place for over a week and a half. We've seen foreign nationals evacuated. We've seen injured Palestinians getting out of Gaza as well. But it's a very delicate process, and it has been delayed after intense strikes, for example, in Gaza, specifically one on a convoy of ambulances that were destined for the Rafah border crossing. And we have seen a few delays, but it's all about getting foreign nationals on that important list so they can find a way back home. Eleni Jokos, CNN, Cairo.